Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing tonight? I see what y'all are talking about when it comes to a new document. It's not available to be looked at. I'm going to show y'all real quick because what we're going to be going through is the text message and 911 information that was talked about yesterday, on the 9th. Oh, let me go ahead and redo the screen. So I noticed they also added this little button for like watching the live hearings to the public interest website. Let's see if it'll let me fix this because you know it messes with me all the time and I gotta constantly move it. Okay, so yeah, they did add like a watch the hearing thing here too, but there's also that other link that I had in that the last video where we talked about it. Now, the only thing that it shows actually is the sealed information. I mean, it was expected for Cyray to respond. I'm more excited about this right here. Sealed defendant's response to state's first supplemental request for discovery regarding transfer of test materials. I'm more excited to read that one than what Cyray has to say, because I already know what Cyray has to say. I don't have any, doubt in what Cyray is claiming. He says he has proof. Well, then I'm sure he's going to produce it. He's not putting his entire 30-something plus career on the line for nothing. Okay. That's all I'm saying on that situation. But yeah, no, there was something sealed. An exhibit at least was sealed. The response itself, like the fact that it's there, the little letter that comes with it. Let's see if this is it right here. Yeah, it's just this. So yeah, it's sealed. And that's not shocking either. But again, this one right here, I really want this one to come live like tomorrow. I would love to see this one because remember, and I was trying to find it right before I went live. I need to find it and then I'll drop it in the community post later. There's a document where Judge wrote in his own handwriting next to his signature that he was having issues with like chain of custody. It was either chain of custody or chain of command. I can never remember which one the verbiage is. But it was important and he felt the need to write it and get their attention. And then we didn't hear anything and he's no longer over the case and now he's like announced his retirement. So I don't know. I don't know what in the world's going on with that. But that's what it is whenever it comes to the documents that I'm hearing you guys mention in here. But yeah, hopefully that one comes live and we can read it tomorrow. Now, what we're going to end up doing is actually looking at Law and Crimes video for this because mine had a transcript. Mine did. The one that I had on my channel had a transcript that made it easy to go and type in things like 911 or text message or drunk or floor, whatever word you're looking for to find the timestamp you need for what you're thinking about, okay? No, in all of me trying to clean it up and it being cut down from 8 hours and 49 minutes to 6 hours and 15 minutes because I took out the me talking in the beginning, me talking at the end, did the breakdown in a separate video, and then I took out all of the session being on break. I took out all of the basically unimportant stuff. And for some reason, YouTube has not allowed me to have my transcript back on it. So, because I needed to find exactly what I needed, I'm just going to use it from the source that I got it from, which is going to be Law and Crimes live stream of this situation. So I'm going to switch my headphones to the ones I need to put on my ears, since right now I'm using my regular old Mikey thingy, and I'll be back in a second and we'll get started. Again, this is just going to be the 911 and the text message testimony, and if we need to pull up some of the documents to go over some things, then we will. I don't know if there was anything specific mentioned besides the bubble text information between Dylan and her dad being technically included in their argument for the 911 call, which was an interesting little mixture of situations right there. But let me switch this up and I'll be right back. Okay, can you guys hear me on this one? I have to switch it because my stuff's all screwed up and I haven't been able to fix it yet. So I just switched it. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Thank you for becoming a member, Suze. Welcome, welcome. And thank you for the gifted membership, Bri. Thank you very much. Go ahead and get this a little bit bigger. Well, let me make it bigger enough, I guess. Ooh, it's actually kind of perfect. That'll work. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Okay, good. Man, look, I got a video tomorrow morning that I'm releasing about the DoorDash. But I don't know about that portion of it. I mean, I talked about this a little bit in the one that I posted, I think it was this morning. That's the most confusing part about the DoorDash, because the whole time they've been trying to claim that it's for her, but there's nothing about her involved in it at all, unless it's on camera somewhere that she's the one that has it. I don't know, but we've never been told that anybody was handed food, where it was dropped. Like, it's been super secretive for no reason. It's a lot. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. Probably not, though. Hold on, let me get this banner up. I just don't understand, like, the secrecy behind it and why it makes it sound as if they went and canvassed the area and they had their phone information and they had all this stuff, but the PCA makes it sound as if the DoorDasher came forward to them with the information, that they didn't find the DoorDash information themselves. So, yeah. Like, just knowing that the timestamps are now different for her TikTok too. Like, I really try not, like, people act however they want to act about me because I disagree with a lot of stuff. Most of them are just ignorant and airheaded. But I really don't try to feed into so many of the conspiracies, like, type things. Like, I know I talk a lot about the 4chan because to me there's so much circumstantial stuff that leads more to the fraternity and the school trying to cover up something than, like, anything else, honestly. But honestly, even thinking that, like, that being purchased from Ethan's phone definitely could have been used as, like, a diversion to throw off a timeline. Especially since, again, the TikTok time is a difference of an hour from 412 to 316. We're just supposed to overlook that. And now they're claiming that Dylan is claiming that she did, like, for some amount of time, see Xana at the time of the event. So she went from, I'm just not understanding how you go to get a DoorDash and in 2 seconds you're, like, on the floor and being seen by somebody who's hearing these things happen, but not seeing exactly what's happening because they're not noticing that something's actually wrong with you. Like, none of it makes sense. I am more flabbergasted now than literally, I think, anything else. Like, we already knew for a fact that they were lying to us about the roommates and that they were awake and they were not asleep and there was something else going on there. So I know that we were like, holy crap, but we weren't shocked. Like, we were just more shocked, I think, that we were right. I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, is we're just kind of, like, more shocked that we've been so against, like, the mainstream narrative, and the more stuff that comes out, it's like, holy crap, we really do have, like, a lot of stuff that we've been talking about and questioning that's coming out correct. So as much as I try not to, like, lean on a lot of things that really don't have a lot of basis, I can't just, like, say it's not a possibility whatsoever that was not created as a diversion. It was not placed as a diversion to throw off the timeline. And it doesn't help that they're telling us that they can't actually give us the true time of death, which makes no sense, because if you have a timeline that you think the crime happened, then how do you not have a time of death? I'm sorry? I don't understand. And I think it's because the truth will come out that there was time for somebody to be saved if 911 would have been called at that time. I think that's probably why they haven't wanted to say anything. I don't want to be right about that, but I really think that that's probably why. Probably another reason why Bethany won't come back, especially Bethany will not come back. And we've really only heard that about Bethany. About, like, not wanting to come back. I don't remember. I know that Dylan got a lawyer in the beginning of this, but I don't remember too much of a fight with her, or at least nothing that was public. Like, they dropped her name into everything when it comes to the PCA. But after the fact, when it came to who was fighting to come back over state line, it was Bethany. Little Miss Exculpatory Evidence. So there's that too. Yeah, like, I'm really curious. Somebody made a comment earlier and I was like, bro, like, you know how people, especially like stupid college age humans, will do things like take a picture of their friend passed out drunk and post it on social media thinking that it's freaking funny. Can you imagine if Little Miss, a delusional, hallucinating child person, was running around the house and took a picture of Xana on the floor thinking that she was really just passed out because she was too out of it to really comprehend what was going on, which I don't see how you could mistake what happened to Xana for drunk and passed out. I'm sorry, I'm just not comprehending that one. But what if that's what happened, and instead of it being like a social media post, it was like that VSCO or whatever, or something like Be Real? Because so many things were getting deleted from both phones, but especially her phone. But you also have to wonder, like, is there proof that anything was deleted from the victims' phones? Because the fact that they all lived together, I mean, they probably had access to each other's phone to an extent, just depending on how close they were. I mean, maybe even for like emergency purposes. You have to question all that stuff too. You have to question all those things. Thank you for the $9.99, 1,000 Julys. Hitler's mannerisms really concern me. He acts like this process annoys him. This is his job. He acts like he's working for the prosecution. And he did just as much babying and hand-holding this time around as he did the freaking last time and the whole time that we've been watching him. He is not the judge for this case. He is not the judge for this case. Does not make any sense. Yeah, there is one on 416. I don't remember if it was there before. I mean, I know that it's been there for a while now that I've like looked at it over the past week or so. I've noticed that it was there, but I don't remember if it was always there. Yeah, I mean, that's just something I've thought about like every now and then, you know, because there's so much time. And now, as we're going to rehear when we do start playing this, Dylan's activity never stopped. And that everything that we've seen, which we've already known, is not all of it. Like, we saw that little bitty portion of it and we're like, bro, what is this crap? And then, like, what was it? Like, this much. And then here came the defense. Pah! And we're like, holy crap. They told us everything. And then it wasn't actually everything, which we kind of figured. And there's really only like a 3-hour gap in Bethany's information from 4:37 to 7:30. And then she starts calling her parents and some unknown number. Like, everything's been a freaking lie. You don't go from adding somebody to your phone at 3:51 in the morning to completely passed out at 4 o'clock to where everyone's disturbing you. Oh, and by the way, let me just say this real quick before we get started. I know damn well that Brian Enton and Trashley Banfeld and a few others are in this like CW thing that released. I've got some notes. I listened to it twice just to make sure I was getting mad about the right things. They are lying about everything. And like I told my friend, I said, this is the blue pill. The way that Brian Enton is a paid shill at this point, someone's putting money in his pocket. And again, just my opinion and allegedly, but you, Brian Enton, should be freaking ashamed of yourself. Y'all just wait. This video is going to come out this weekend of me going off about this damn thing. They have everything wrong. They're saying Dylan stayed in her room the entire time. They don't even mention the fact that like anything went past there being a family tree that was gotten from like the trash, the DNA. They talk about the DNA in a family thing being like found out, and then they start talking about Pennsylvania, and they keep on going and acting like, oh, it was just a family tree, and then they still had him as a suspect from the 1129 stuff, which is not true. Ann Taylor already told us there's correspondence proving that the stuff from 1129 was never looked at until after they had Brian's name. Everything about the IGG is being wiped away. This is the first blue pill drop, and Brian Enton and Trashley Banfeld are involved and lying in their pockets. It was gross. I instantly shared it and called him a paid actor on Twitter. Like, you should be freaking ashamed of yourself, Enton. And you know what was really crazy too? Remember how he's the one who came out? He's the one who came out and was like, he asked if anybody else was arrested. And then we had a document come out and it actually like pointed that out and was like basically calling it false statements in the media, like false information in the media. and he doesn't mention it at all. He doesn't mention that at all. Wouldn't you, Mr. Inton, mention the one thing that you were mainly known for in the beginning of this case? Wouldn't you mention that in like your spotlight era? Oh wait, you can't because you've already proven to be a liar. Oh, it makes me so mad. Like they literally are like, as soon as Dylan, apparently Dylan yelled at Murphy to stop barking at some point. The Vanity Fair chick just like makes stuff up out of her butt, and I'm like, what is this? I've got to stop. I've got to stop right now because I'm gonna just keep on going forever. He did not directly threaten anybody. He just basically said that the allegations they were making against Jennings, basically the allegations being made, if true, could get somebody disbarred. That's what he said. He didn't directly threaten to disbar anybody. He was just telling them that what they were doing was really, really serious. And if it's actually true, then that person, basically being Jennings in this specific scenario, being the target of what Syra is saying, she would be disbarred if all of these allegations were true. That's how I understood that. That's how I understood that. See, and I just don't understand why they put this man on here, because he's never done anything like this. As far as I can tell, because Alice said, this judge seems to be letting things go so much, so I see a possible appeal should this trial continue this way. But I just don't know why it's him. Like, I feel like they should be able to appeal him just on the fact that they appointed somebody who's never heard a murder case. Like, he's apparently only ever done civil stuff. And he's a real jerk. He's a real jerk. Yeah, and on court record, he called Syra a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, bro, we instantly know. We know who you are. We know who you are. Somebody was like, we need to see what his connections are with the university, with Scott Green. I'm like, yeah, probably so. I don't trust none of this crap. Like, are you for real right now? Oh, just insane. That's just the insanity. Just the insanity. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. How is any of it even allowed? And how is he allowed to just blurt out false information? How is he allowed to interrupt the actual attorneys and then blurt out a bunch of false info? How? I don't understand. I don't understand. That's not running the courtroom. Whenever you're an asshole to one side and you literally tat-tat the hand of the other, okay, no. That's not running the courtroom. I would be able to respect him if that's what I saw. And y'all already know damn well that if that's what he was doing, that's what I'd be saying he was doing, because I don't play all that boo-boo. But that's not what he is doing. Thank you for the $9.99 1,000 Julys. Want to remember to say, how could no blood have been mentioned ever? And we later see that Xana is, all of her, the stuff flowing out of the house. That's the part that I don't understand. And I will never understand, because how do you not see that under the door? How do you not see that on the floor leading between things? And if you're claiming that you saw her on the floor at some point, some people are like, okay, but her hands could have been under her body and she was wearing all black, blah, blah, blah. So you mean to tell me that she wasn't like, she didn't have any around her, none on her face, and just magically both of her hands that were severed so horribly from defending herself were underneath her body? Like, people are coming up with like the most ridiculous possible scenarios to try to like excuse the behaviors that we're seeing here. And I'm just like, please do not have children if you think that this kind of crap is okay, because don't. Just don't. Oh, give me 1 second. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started listening to this. Now, again, this is just going to be for the text messages and the 911 call, and I'll pick a section to go over in a live later. Now, hopefully those documents come out and I can just get a real quick video out, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have time to sit down and go live tomorrow, but hopefully we can do some more live stuff on Sunday. That's what I want to do. But let's go ahead and start listening to this. If you guys want me to stop on anything that you hear specifically, because of course I'm going to stop whenever I hear certain things, but if there's something that you want me to stop on specifically, use some sort of like bright whatever emoji thingy-mabobber in front of what you're going to say so that maybe it'll get my attention. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I'll take that issue under advisement. Text message, or pardon me, 911 call.
Oh, hold on. Let me stop for a second. I've got to find the info on this, guys. But you see the lady over her. Oh, I can't. It's not showing me my mouse, guys. Okay. The lady in the sweater over here, in the white sweater that's looking backwards, under where it says Idaho. For some reason, my mouse doesn't show up. Okay. She was like throwing hearts at Kohberger during court. There's like screenshots of the recording of her. I don't know who she is. But apparently they just let whatever was going on happen so that there wasn't like a big thing happening on the cameras, but it got caught on camera, her shooting him some hearts. I don't know. I was just crazy. Is she another YouTuber? Because what is that about? At first I thought it was Lana because like from far away with her hair and like just like her hoodie, I thought it was Lana. And then like I started looking closer and I was like, I'm not really sure. And then somebody else said it was her. And then someone else was like, no, she's live right now. It's not the real Papa Rogers, guys. Calm down. This Papa Rogers is always over here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It isn't funny, but it's funny at the same time because what is wrong with you getting in the courtroom on a live chat, like on a live stream, knowing that everyone is going to see that and see you, a grown-ass woman who looks like she's probably a good like 10 or 15 years older than me just from afar, acting like a 2-year-old child, like you're at a concert. This is not in sync. Can we not? Can we not? I just want to know who she is for real, for real. Do you know the channel name? Anybody know the channel name? Anybody? Apparently, okay, she was... See, people like that make people that actually are out here really asking questions and trying to figure stuff out look insane. Thank you for the $9.99. She was on her phone in front of the bailiff. I was like, what the hell? Well, I was listening to some of what AR had to say earlier, and he said he was on his phone too because they were just letting the stuff in. They just said you couldn't record or take photos or anything like that. I know. I need to go find like the timestamp. People were talking about it on Twitter, and there was like screenshots, and she's literally like this and like leaning over the seats, looking like a little puppy dog. I'm like, these are the women that we've been hearing about. Absolutely wild. Oh, I keep forgetting this is the microphone that you guys are hearing. I mean, I don't know. I saw the cops like walking around a little while, but they didn't act like they were going to do anything. And she kept like looking back and hee and ha ha. And I'm like, can we act like we know how to act in a courtroom? And then to find out she's crafts. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I saw it though. Okay. Look, don't hit me with a good time noodles. I love me some ramen. Okay, I'm gonna go find it right now. I'm gonna show you. Hold on, let me take this off of here. Let me see. I'm pretty positive that it would be under like the Bryan Kohberger tag. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna show you. Hopefully it's still on here. Oh, there it is. Oh, you ready? You ready? And of course it's the person that shall not be named that actually pops up whenever I search it, and it shows the first picture. I don't know. She's a channel. That's a heart, broski. This is the sweatshirt lady. Nope, this is the same one. Same lady. White sweatshirt. She's the same one that I thought was Lana. Because from far away, she has like the blonde hair and she was just like real giggly, and Lana's usually like in a good mood and kind of loud. So I thought it was her. Like, you know that you're being live streamed. You know this is a court live stream. Why are you acting this immature? And I honestly don't care what her excuse is. I don't care if it's for her kid or anything else. I don't care what the excuse is for that. You're at a courtroom. This is a quadruple homicide. So can you act like you actually give a shit? I mean, but come on. You gotta grow the frick up. Grow up! Yeah, this is why, exactly. The mainstream media people doing stupid shit is the reason why we even have the issue to begin with. Then they finally allow people in there that are not just the attorneys, the investigators, the expert witnesses, and that's the first thing that happens. Olaf, can we not? I'm not even gonna, I shouldn't even have acknowledged that. That's ridiculous. Anyways. Let's just go. I wonder how the Goncalveses felt seeing that after everything, because y'all know how I feel about Steve. Okay. But to have to deal with that kind of thing on top of everything else, it's a lot. They're probably angry. Okay, we're just gonna go. Yeah, when the extra in the movie is too extra. Yeah. Okay, let's stop. We gotta stop. Behave. Okay, let's continue. But watch her. I don't know how much of her we're going to see in this. I don't remember how long this is, but just watch her. She moves around because she's in the back at first, and then she moves right there, and then she gets over sort of directly behind Masoth and just starts hanging over, watching him all cray. It's funny. I'm sorry, but you should not be acting like that in a courtroom. Come on. I don't care. Okay.
Judge, the state seeks a pretrial ruling that the audio recording of the 911 call and a transcript of that call are an exception to the rule against hearsay. The state submits that the entire 911 call should be admitted pursuant to IRE 8032 as an excited utterance. At 11:49 a.m., BF calls her friend and to come over and check the residence. The friend and a boyfriend show up to the residence. At 11:56 a.m., BF places a call to.
So let's go back. Let's talk about that for just a second, because I know that we already know this from the information that we have recently received, that I believe her name is Emily. Is it Emily or Emma? I'm going to pull it up so I have the initials in front of me. But it was a girl that they called over. And the story that Christy Goncalves was telling Daniel at Drunk Turkey is what she was apparently told by who I'm assuming from what they said was Hunter Johnson. And the story was that he was the one called because the door needed to be opened, because the girls couldn't get the door open, physically could not get the door open. And so we always questioned, well, why didn't you just go upstairs and get those two college-aged, robustly built, strong as hell, college-aged, just healthy, ready to go women? Why didn't you go up there and get their help to get the door open? Why didn't you go up there and be like, hey, we can't get Xana's door open. Come help us find out what's going on with Xana. Why would you instantly call an outside source? So then whenever it's a male, it makes sense a little bit, right? It makes a little bit more sense. But then we're hearing, oh, but actually, it wasn't a dude called over to do a strength activity to get a door open. No. It was a girl that got called over. So what was the point in that? What was the point in that? I'm not really quite understanding where the story got so twisted. Because it literally went from him showing up and getting that door open, seeing what happened to Xana and Ethan, screaming for the girls, get the F out and call 911. That's how it was told. But now we know for a fact that on this 911 call, we're hearing what seems to be that exact same situation happening about midway through the call, and then Hunter gets on the call. So knowing that she now actually contacts a female that changes not only the story itself, but the intention for why the person was called over, because it's not because they need a strong arm to open the door. Because what's a girl your size going to do to help you if you wouldn't even go get the two upstairs? Oh, wait, because you knew not to go for some reason go upstairs? See, the whole thing is just like, how? How does it make sense? Like I said, the more that we find out, the less it makes any sense. The less.
911. Just 7 minutes later. This 911 call was immediately after learning that HJ had something was definitely wrong within the residence, and his instruction that the girl should call 911.
See, she just lied to us. She just literally, I didn't even catch this, guys. She just freaking lied to us. She just said the story that I just said is no longer true because the 911 call proves it's not true. She just literally stated that Hunter Johnson, seeing something was wrong, is the one who instructed the 911 call. Is she serious? Hold on a minute now.
Was she full of prominent? So in response, the state attached a picture of Mr. Kohberger.
No, I went back too far. I went somewhere else.
Is beyond police station and
I messed it up. Hold on a second. But y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard her just lie. Exactly. They were already on the phone whenever Hunter got over there and said something was wrong.
DM gave consistent descriptions of the male she saw in the residence that night at around 4 a.m. Every time she described this person.
I feel like I'm not in the
being
right spot. Hold on. I gotta fix this. That just threw me all the way off because I don't remember her saying that before. She just reiterated the lie that we just said we just found out was no longer the truth. I'm about to lose my mind. Hold on. Where's the first one? Okay, right here. Okay, look, she just say it right here. Places a 911 call just 7 minutes later. This 911 call was immediately after learning that HJ, Hunter Johnson, had something was definitely wrong within the residence and his instructions that the girls should call 911. That's not what the frick happened. She just lied. Exactly. Like, you hear him already. Like, you don't hear anything until then. Like, she can just lie like that? No, she can't just lie like that. She just lied. I just cannot believe. Okay, let's listen to her lie one more time.
And his instruction that the girl should call 911.
This right here, it makes me wonder if freaking Hunter Johnson even told the Goncalveses anything, or if that story came to the Goncalveses through the state from Hunter Johnson's recollection. Because why the hell is she telling the same lie of a narrative? Yeah, the 911 should be freaking definitely put into trial if this idiot is going to get there and lie and then play the 911 call, because then the jury is going to hear the lie in real time. Unbelievable. I am just so wow.
The statements were before the declarants knew their friends had been murdered the night before.
We're going to listen to it again here in just a second, because at this point we have to play it again. We have to. Who initially calls the girls to call? See, that's my whole point. That's my whole point, architect. That's my whole point. We've been being told the whole time it's Hunter Johnson. That's not true. He literally is saying it on the call. So we're definitely going to listen to it again here in just a second. Because
The requirements of IRE 803-2 are met, as this was obviously a startling event, and two, the statements were made under the stress and excitement that it caused. And that's clear by listening to that audio. The defendant has proposed that their version of the 911 transcript be used, and the state has no objection to that. And I do have a copy of that transcript and the defendant's transcript if the court would like it. Thank you.
I may ask you some more questions because it seemed to me from the briefs that the defense focused in on three particular parts of the 911 call as not falling within the exceptions. So you didn't address those specifically, but let me see where the defense is at.
Your Honor, the best place for me to start is to probably provide you with some copies of the exhibits that we're going to want to talk about. The first set I'm going to hand you was actually filed with the text messages. It's an affidavit of Josiah Roloff, and also, let me give you the extra copy. It has DM's messages broken out in bubble form.
Now, we've gone over that information, but just the portion that said what this Josiah guy was doing. And it was the bubble form text messages between Dylan and her dad. And like I said, the only reason why they would be being submitted for the 911 call is because something about probably making the 911 call or something along the lines, something to do with it, is mentioned in this text message exchange. But this dude also can go in and find out if you have taken photos, manipulated photos, edited photos, deleted apps, deleted videos, did things, anything and everything that was done. He, for some reason, I say for some reason, but we pretty much already assume there's a reason why the defense wants certain things admitted for this when it comes to Dylan's information. And we have to also remember this is not just stuff that they're pulling out their butts either. It's stuff that's coming to them in discovery. It's not stuff that they made up. It's stuff that's actually found on these people's devices, things that are actually evidence. And they deem it important themselves. That's important in itself.
That's not all. I gave a whole separate copy for Giovanna. I think that's what I'm supposed to do.
This, to be clear, we're talking about 911, but you're giving me text stuff?
We are, in our response to the state's motion about the 911 call, we referenced the whole copy of text messages. We just filed them with text messages, but they're appropriate here for the court to consider. I have the additional exhibits that were attached to our response, and they are 1 and 1A. 2 copies. With those in possession of the court, I'll talk about the state's request. The 911 call is made 8 hours after whatever happened in that house happened, after the killings happened, according to the state's theory of the case anyway. The state wants to play for the jury the 911 call and give them a transcript of the 911 call as an excited utterance or a present sense impression. The context of all of what happened that night is captured in DM's text messaging. There's a separate text messaging exhibit for BF. But it's not that all of a sudden at 4 a.m. something starts to happen and then the 8 hours pass and they call their friends and are startled by finding out that their roommates have been killed overnight. There's a lot more that happens during that time, and to analyze whether they're under the influence of a new and startling event, the court should take a look at all of the text messaging, all of the use of Snapchat, all of the use of Instagram that happened. It doesn't.
All of it. There was multiple things accessed here. Now, again, this isn't everything, but there's recognition. There's recognition between both of them that something is happening. And neither one of them are doing anything about it. Neither one of them seem to know how to actually act, which is insane.
Doesn't start in the middle of the night and then just stop until noon. There is a whole lot more that's going on in that house. When you hear the 911 call and you analyze each of those statements, the only statement that could possibly be a present sense impression is that from HJ. And he really doesn't say a whole lot. The other statements that the
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they even say in here too that like the stuff from Emily, like Emily apparently only walked up to like the top of the first flight of stairs, so just up to like the second floor, but didn't actually walk around. She went up to the top of the steps, walked right back out the freaking house, never went back in. So she didn't see anything. So yeah, the really only like excited utterance, she's not wrong. It would be Hunter Johnson because he's the only one going inside the house. And the two girls, they've known since 4 o'clock in the morning that some shit was going on. So it can't be an excited utterance if you've had 8 hours to process and now you're telling tales. Yeah, no.
state wants to capture in. One is attributed to a person with the initials EA, and that person is repeating what she's been told. She says one of the roommates is passed out. And then a bit later, under prompt from either DM or BF, she says, oh yeah, and they saw a man in their house last night. Those are not things that relate to an exciting event. She's reporting things that other people are telling.
And what did I say? She wants to just, her main focus is the fact that Xana was passed out from drinking too much the night before, or at least that's the story she was told. So even after they're both freaking the hell out at 4 o'clock in the morning, seeing what they're claiming to be somebody in black with a mask on, or at least Dylan is claiming that, you're still not like freaking out and being like, I saw somebody in my house in the middle of the night and now none of my roommates are answering. Instead, you're focusing on just the one person. While also in the files, it shows that they're at some point contacting Ethan as well. But you're not mentioning the fact that all three of your roommates are answering the phone. You're not mentioning the fact that you saw a person in your house, didn't think anything of it at first. You could even say that and it make more sense than this shit. Again, there's no proof they went upstairs to check on Maddie and Kaylee before they ended up calling an outside source. So how, just with that one thing, are you going to sit here and try to pretend like these girls didn't have knowledge of the situation and pretended in front of their friends? Because that sure is what it freaking sounds like to me. That's what it seems like to me.
She's not somebody who observed any event in the house. If the court takes a look at Exhibit 1 that came with the 911 calls, it's a smaller transcript and it comes from the grand jury transcript. If the court will look at page 277, that's numbered in the top right corner, lines 16 through 24, EA did not see anybody in that house. She went in, went to the top of the stairs, and went back out, and she saw nothing. She never went back inside that house.
So that was actually mentioned at the grand jury. I wonder if they had her come and testify, or if that's just information that they just talked about at the grand jury. I'd love to get all of that information, all of it.
Any statement attributed to her cannot be an excited utterance. She's repeating what other people have told her. Similarly, if you look at the grand jury transcript, this is 1A, this relates to DM, and I'm at page 187, lines 12 through 16. DM is not responding to any of the statements she makes on the 911 call to a startling event. She says that for a brief second, she saw XK, but thought she was passed out from the night before. She also wants to talk about what she saw at 4 in the morning, and the dispatcher stops her. Looking at page 1,
Yeah, like I know that the dispatcher's job is to try to get like as much important information for getting the cops there or getting ambulance there or whatever it is, but I really wish that she wouldn't have interrupted her because that would have been her first official story to like authority. I really wish they wouldn't have stopped her.
190 of that same 1A transcript, DM talks a little bit about that morning when she woke up after whatever happened in the middle of the night happened inside that house, that she reviewed the text messages between her and
No, the dispatcher's name is actually in the documents. Eric's wife, the private driver's wife, works for MPD. I don't know if she still does, but she did at the time, and she was pregnant at the time, and she worked in the admin office, from what I'm understanding, doing like FOIA requests and like admin work and stuff over there. I don't know if she still works there or not. I don't know what their recent situation is.
BF from the night before. She was busy from about 9 o'clock in the morning on her phone. She was on Instagram. She was on Snapchat. She made on the 911 call is not the result of a present sense impression. It's not the result of an excited utterance. It is somebody who's been awake and thinking about whatever she and BF talked about the night before and communicating with a lot of other people before that 911 call is made. The court should not admit the 911 call as an excited utterance, and the court should not admit the transcript for the same reason. But if the court chooses to admit one, having both is cumulative. So it would ask the court to exclude the 911 call.
But I just don't agree. I agree with them claiming that it needs to be excluded because it's being admitted as an excited utterance, but it needs to be included as part of the case because it's the frickin' 911 call. And nothing on the 911 call leads to anyone. Just because there's a 2-second mention from a third party person claiming that somebody said they saw something maybe for like a second, that doesn't lead to anyone when it comes to innocence or guilt. And the 911 call should be submitted because they need to know that the jury needs to know the lie. We just heard Jennings lie. We just heard her freaking lie. Let me see what else they have to say about the 911 call portion. And then before it goes off to, because I'm pretty positive, yeah, they're not done with the text message portion yet. Before it switches to the full-on text message information, we're going to listen to the 911 call again. Well, the problem with this right here is that they've already basically tried to lie to the family like that. Like, from what I'm understanding, Dylan lied straight to Steve Goncalves' face and said, I was asleep. I didn't hear or see anything. But he already knew from what Jack D heard whenever he was down there that that was a lie, that Dylan did hear and see something because he heard her talking about it on the phone before he was taken to the police station to be interrogated. So she tried that already, you know, and she's already on interviews. I mean, she doesn't remember anything worth a crap because she was out of her mind, but she can't just pretend that she didn't know more at the time. And if she would have been honest about that to begin with and been honest about what actually happened, then we wouldn't be here. But she's not being honest for a reason. And the story keeps changing because it's not true. Lies always change. The truth never changes. No matter how much you want it to, the truth will never falter. We haven't had one thing not change in this entire case. Not one thing. Besides the fact that 4 people are gone. That's it. That's it.
Judge, I think there's a misapplication of the rule as well as the event that is causing the startling event, or the reason that they're startled. State agrees that this is somewhat of a culmination. There was definitely a startling event around 4 in the morning when DM opened her door and sees an unknown person in black in the house. She's not sure what to make of this, but that's obviously a startling event, enough so that she runs downstairs to her friend's bedroom. Yes, a period of time elapses.
Okay, and if she would have called 911 at 4 o'clock in the morning, then the entire thing would be an excited utterance. But she didn't. So once again, you're fighting a fight that you are wrong about. Go figure.
She wakes up the next morning. The next startling event is the fact that when she wakes up the next morning, her friends, she can't hear them. And she's texting them, and that's what her phone records show. She's texting them, giving them time to respond. Her friend to come over. Then the friend comes over, discovers Xana, and then instructs them something is wrong. And
I cannot believe that she's still pulling this bullshit. I cannot wait to replay this call so that I can, just once again prove her wrong.
Between her and BF, between
of time elapses. She wakes up the next morning.
I love how she's still lying even about that portion. She wakes up the next morning. Well, for one, it's the same morning. So it ain't the next morning because this wasn't Monday morning. This was Sunday morning, the same night everything happened. And she didn't sleep. And the crazy part is that this chick would have been one of the first people to even see the discovery to show that home chick was not asleep and that all of her activity just continues on the all entire night. So lying knowing that there's receipts to prove you wrong makes no sense. It's like you want to lose your career. I just don't understand.
Startling event is the fact that when she wakes up the next morning, her friends, she can't hear them. And she's texting them, and that's what her phone records show. She's texting them, giving them time to respond, and they're not responding. So at this point, she decides to call over friends to come and check on the residents, remembering what happened the night before. Now adding to that she's not hearing the roommates above like she normally would, and they're not responding in the morning like they normally would. Then she calls her friend to come over. Then the friend comes over, discovers Xana, and then instructs them something is wrong. And to the point that they need to call 911. That's truly...
She just lied again. See? That's not true. The call was already in place. Did she not even bother listening to the damn thing? Well, I'm really curious. Has she even bothered listening to it?
Really the startling event here is the confirmation that all of these things are coming together and that there's an emergency in the house that law enforcement needs to respond to, which is the context of how all of these statements are made.
What do I do, or what's your response to it seems like some of this I need to take bit by bit. And so, for example, EA stating that one of our roommates or one of the roommates passed out and was drunk last night and she's not waking up. She didn't witness anything.
Well, I think that falls under her present sense impression of what is happening at that time.
Hearsay.
Her hearsay statement of what somebody else told her.
That's
she's
true.
not experiencing anything.
That's true.
And I think the case of look at my note here.
Oh, he took notes. I don't think she hasn't.
Bemis.
I don't think she has.
Instructive.
Well, I would also argue that for this particular statement, we wouldn't be relying on it for that truth. So therefore, it's just not hearsay. Well, solely just for the context of the entire 911 call. But we wouldn't be asserting that what she was saying is true, that the roommate is passed out and she's not waking up.
Okay, but she's saying she's passed out from drinking too much the night before. So yeah, it's not true. It's not true. This person, this trial is going to be really tough, having to deal with her every day.
That's not the purpose, or that my friend's telling me that she saw someone in the house last night.
Tell me it's not offered for the truth. You better have a good answer about what the reason is other than the truth, and I'm not hearing one.
Only that it's part of the substance of the entire 911 call, and that part could be redacted, which still, that doesn't mean that the entire call should be redacted.
So I'm addressing them individually. I mean, there may be parts that qualify and there may be parts that don't.
I still argue that the entire
I mean, I agree the entire 911 call needs to be played simply because it's the freaking 911 call. The fact that this is even an argument to me is kind of stupid. Like, why wouldn't you admit the 911 call? It's like what got the ball rolling. I feel like it should always be there. Again, I agree it's not an excited utterance, pretty much anything except for Hunter Johnson. But the entire thing needs to be in there regardless. No one needs to win this fight. The court just needs to be, I don't really care what y'all's issues are. We're playing the damn 911 call because it's part of the case. This is why. I could never be in a courtroom. This is dumb. I don't do good with dumb.
call in its entirety.
Well, so here's kind of the way that shakes out. If you offer the tape, you, as an initial matter, can't put in stuff that is hearsay. It's unaccepted hearsay. If they want to put in the context, if it falls under the completion doctrine, they can. If it's the other way around, in the defense first plays the tape, and parts are hearsay are left out, and you want to complete it, you can.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew gifted 20 memberships. Congratulations to the people that get those. Thank you. It's very nice. Very, very nice.
But you don't get to complete with hearsay your own offered conversation or I think it applies outside the federal context to recordings and testimony.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
So when you say for the whole context, that sounds like the completion doctrine.
One day I'll show you guys pictures so that you guys can understand why I'm having to stop and tell you this. You see how Jennings, oh, now it wants to show my mouse. What the frick? Okay. Do you see how Jennings' face is just like nose and eyeballs, like staring over a line? Okay. My parents let me do whatever the hell I wanted to my bedroom whenever I became a teenager. And I had like 2 blue walls and 2 purple walls, and I had paint marker drawings everywhere. Okay. I had little gremlins. Like I would draw like top fence pieces, like top wooden fence pieces, either chain link or sometimes wood with like the piece of like the chipped wood out. But I'd draw little gremlins like peeking over the little fence things with just like their eyes and some sort of like creepy nose and scary ears, and it's crazy. She's reminding me of the creepy little gremlin things I used to draw on my wall as a child. That's all I could think about almost the whole time she was talking on the 9th. And I'm just like, this is bringing me back to like being 12. It's just too much. Thank you for joining, Cat K. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll find a picture one day. I have photos. I have disposable camera photos because I had dragons like everywhere, little gremlins, and she's just definitely a little gremlin right now. It's a lot.
Which I'm not sure you get to rely upon. Well, I know you don't get to rely upon. And so when you say it's not offered for the truth, I'm not hearing something other than the completion doctrine that you're telling me about.
I think that's fair. I mean, we only have certain exceptions to the rule. If it, I still believe that the entire call in its entirety and under the circumstances that the call was made, the entire call could be considered an excited utterances by all declarants.
Also, there's a statement by EA, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's still hearsay because it's not her own experience. And they know all this. Like the state knows this. That's why it's so funny that they're even trying to label it. Why did they even try to label it as something like excited utterance? Like I feel like they just wanted to argue about it. Like I feel like they didn't have to actually argue about this.
That seems to me to even be more removed. Again, it's a statement of a hearsay of somebody else, so you got hearsay within hearsay, and not by somebody who observed that and relating to the event that happened previously.
That's true.
So what non-truth purposes is that statement?
Again, I would just have to say that the whole
Because
call is
that seems
excited.
to me to be even more concerning,
Right.
right? The first one, I mean, my roommates aren't waking up, and we're going to have that confirmed through other evidence. The statement hearsay that the roommate.
He's got to stop saying my roommates aren't waking up because they're talking about Emily at this point, right? And that's not what she said. Or maybe he's talking about Bethany in the very beginning. And I think somebody mentioned they didn't hear Bethany on the call. Bethany is the first voice that you hear, and then Emily takes over the phone call.
Roommate saw somebody is perhaps more of a piece of contested evidence.
Agreed. I still.
Concern about being an offer for the truth is even greater there.
Right, and the appropriate remedy, when there's not any grounds for relevancy for this, would be to solely redact those portions of the 911 call, not to exclude the entire call.
The whole thing needs to be admitted, straight up. I don't care. The whole thing.
And based off of the nature of the call and the fact that the phone is passed around multiple times, and it's hard to determine who's speaking at what times. And obviously a lot of.
But I mean, the first time you run through it, yeah, but after listening to it several times and then knowing that there's a certified transcript and the voices have been verified, it's not difficult at all.
Emotion in their voice, considering what's going on. It's not always clear to understand what's being said, so I think a transcript is a fair way also to convey this and should be allowed with the audio. Nothing further from the state.
Transcript and testimony. In other words, you're essentially admitting the evidence of somebody who transcribed it to say this is what they said. So to me, there's two different questions. One, should the 911 call come in? And second, should I allow, if there is a disagreement, a transcript?
Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't sell these anymore, and I didn't find out about that until yesterday. So I can't.
Well, the state has offered to allow the defendant's transcript that they had certified.
The fact it's certified doesn't.
Yeah, and it's not just us guys. Like AR and his wife that are back here were saying that he could barely hear him, and he was sitting in the courtroom, and he would notice that like people would sort of like react to something that Hippler's saying, but you can hear it whenever it's on the recording. He was like, you can see us reacting in the courtroom whenever he's talking, but going back and listening to people's live streams, you can't hear it. He is literally like 4 feet away from his microphone right now where I paused it. And he purposely keeps sitting as far back in his thing as humanly possible. So yeah, I don't know why he's doing that. I feel like it's definitely on purpose. He knows already that he needs to be closer to that microphone.
Make it otherwise independently admissible. It's hearsay. The transcript part of it.
Well, it's a transcript of the 911 call. I believe that it could be self-authenticating. It has sufficient standards of reliability built into the transcript.
This all seems so stupid.
That may be one. 24 might be a hook. You haven't complied with the requirements of 24 at this point, but
No, but we haven't met our exhibit or witness deadline yet. So obviously, we would have to lay the proper foundation for that and would intend to do so. Thank you.
This whole thing just seems stupid. I know I've said that like 18 times, but I don't care. It should be admitted. It's a 911 call. There shouldn't be an argument. Neither side should be able to say either way. It should just be standard. And I don't really care about the transcript situation. The state's using the one that the defense put together. Like, they're not even arguing it. They're allowing the defense's transcript to be the one that's admitted into evidence. I just don't see the problem. I mean, they need the audio and the transcript. The jury should hear and read both. I don't understand the problem. Is this done? Because if it's done, I'm going to play the call for a second.
right, I think I need to take a statement by statement approach to this. I do think that the surviving roommates, surviving victims of the burglary were under the stress of the immediate events, but there are some questions.
They didn't call the 911 call whenever there was a possible burglar walking through the house. Okay. And some of the original 4chan posts was talking about how they thought they heard more than one person upstairs rummaging around. And then another one was talking about how Jillian just thought it was one of Ethan and Xana's friends leaving. So the burglary with the person walking around and you're freaking out, you could have called 911 then. So you think somebody's stealing shit from people and you don't call 911? Then you think your friend's just passed out drunk on the floor and you don't call 911 or check on them? Like, this is a pattern. Probably not too safe to be out in the public if this is how you're going to behave. Just saying.
About some of the other statements in there as to whether they would come in. So I think in general, much of the 911 tape meets the qualifications, but not all of it. I think there are concerns with some of them, as I've outlined in my questions. But I will write that because to give you more particular guidance.
I remember this. I remember the furniture thing. And honestly, that tracks with Steve Goncalves claiming that the fight with Ethan was like, oh, how did he word it? Basically, like, it was one hell of a fight and that whatever was going on didn't need to go up to the top floor. So there's that. And it would sound like probably furniture getting moved around if people are getting thrown into things and stuff is getting moved around. Ugh, okay.
All right, the text messages.
Okay, so before we move on to the text messages, let's go ahead and listen to the 911 call again. So, I know that people are claiming that you can hear like a radio or a dispatch radio or a police radio or something along the lines in the 911 call. Do you guys know the timestamp? Because this is the one, this is mine that I'm going to play. This is mine. This is the one where I grabbed it from the local station, who was the first one to post it online. This is the one that I posted to the channel as soon as it dropped. I had it screen recorded within like 20 minutes of it releasing from that station. So I don't know where the timestamp is. I don't remember hearing it. It might be kind of faint towards the end. I never heard sirens at all. Well, whatever. We're just going to all listen to it again anyways. Okay. So Keep in mind that Jennings is a freaking liar with her creepy gremlin eyeballs, okay? She's a freaking liar. It is not Hunter Johnson saying, get out and call 911. That's happening on the call. That's not the reason for the call. It's happening during the call. I just, cannot believe the damn lies. The lies. Get ready.
I was given permission to play a little bit of that. I'm doing it because I need...
Oh, yeah. This is where I, talk shit to him for a second. Let this play.
people to realize that it's actually real. So probably pretty soon, the entire thing will be able to be put out there, and we'll do that.
Oh, and in case you guys didn't know, there's a girl named Cece Suarez. She's a commentator for ridiculous people, talk shit about crazy TikTokers and stuff like that. She called out Gray Hughes, and he wrote her a bunch of emails in the middle of the night threatening to sue her and talking all this crap. Y'all need to go watch them. That one. Yes. I loved it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. All right, let's continue.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
Something happened in our house and we don't know what. So Bethany actually doesn't say anything about the roommates. So the judge was wrong all the way around because that's not said by Bethany. It's said by Emily. Okay.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she not wake me up.
Did she say, okay, I gotta hear it again.
Passed out, and one of the roommates has passed.
Okay, so it was one of the, but she didn't live there, so whatever. I honestly don't even care about that part.
Passed out, and she was drunk last night and she not wake me up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
See, it's just a back thought. It's just a back end thought, fleeting thought.
Hi.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep.
Did I just hear, hi, this is Dylan? I think that's the first time I've heard that. Hold on.
Hi, this is
And are you with the patient?
Hi, this is Dylan. I never heard that before. It doesn't show up on the CC either, but that's exactly what the frick it says. I don't remember hearing that.
Hi, this is
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. But we have to.
We've got to go check, meaning they have no freaking clue why they're calling 911 at this point. Right? They just call in because something's a little crazy, but they don't really know what. They have to go check, and at this point, you don't hear Hunter. Is she passed out? That's all she says. You just said Hunter's voice. Sounds like probably Hunter just said, Ethan. Xana, Ethan. Oh my God. She's passed out. What's wrong?
She's not waking up.
She's not waking up. Xana.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, okay, I hear a radio, but that might not mean that it's in the house. That could be the dispatcher radio because they're also getting feedback from the officers they're sending out. So if that's what y'all are talking about, then that doesn't necessarily mean that. Get out. See? So literally, Jennings is lying. Him telling them, get out, because he sees something is on the 911 call. And she just stood up in court on the 9th and lied twice. I always heard it. I've had to call 911 quite a few times. I always heard dispatch over the phone whenever I was talking to somebody. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but that just sounds like that to me. I saw something come in whenever I was looking at the damn screen. Hey, buddy. Everyone that doesn't hit like is getting sent gray hues. Ooh, don't do that to people. Don't do that. Thanks for the $10. Don't do that. That's horrible. It's disgusting. Yeah, they're looking at them right then. As what we just heard is them eyes on it. So she just lied twice in court, and Judge Hippler doesn't give a single shit. Let's continue and finish.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20.
Yeah, see, I mean, I heard it again, but I'm telling you, it really probably is like on her end, the dispatcher's end. But is that everywhere? I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I feel like it's probably on that other end. Oh, 20 more gifted memberships. Thank you, Andrew. And congratulations to the other 20 new members. Congratulations. And thank you very much. I don't know. It wouldn't be 11. What? It wouldn't be 11. Are you talking? Oh, you're talking about timestamp. It's a different timestamp for me. That time it did say officers en route. See, that's why. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of confused because people do think that it means there's a police officer like standing there, and that his radio is the one that's going off. But I don't know if that means that or if that means that it's just the dispatcher not pressing that mute button. Ugh, I cannot stand that she's sitting here just lying. Like, this is making me so upset. This is making me like even more mad. I cannot believe she just lied twice in court. I just am. Okay,
and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
There was the en route. I just heard it.
Yes, 20. Here's one.
Okay.
Hello?
There's Hunter.
Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
See, right here, it sounds the way that it did whenever they bleeped out or cut out Bethany's phone number. So he's describing what he just saw, I feel like, in this portion. See how it goes away?
Okay.
It's going to go quiet and then it's going to come back like mid-word.
I can't talk to him.
See, it just came in mid-word. He's got to be describing something. And they don't want it out to the public because it's probably bad. That's how I feel. Someone told you were wrong because they know any freaking better. I can't stand stupid people. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
I need you to talk to him.
Hello. Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 13, 2022.
Maybe a little longer. Hold on, let's see.
Hey, sorry.
Get out, get out.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. You're 20.
Okay, I was waiting for you to email me because you said something like when we went live that you had emailed me. I'll check. I didn't see anything, so if you just emailed me, I'll check here in a second.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Here. And then it goes quiet. Like I'm telling you, he's describing something right here.
You talk to them, say. I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I've already...
Did we hear the en route already? I don't know where it's at.
Hello. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay. One moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it right there?
Started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
Okay, there's the en route at, well, it's my timestamp at 3:36.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. You're 20.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again. There's a police here right now.
Less than a minute. So from my timestamp, 3:36 to 4:26, but they pretty much instantly, it's a small place and it's only like a 2.5 minute drive, right? So that timing doesn't really bother me too much. Thank you for the $50, Andrew. Appreciate your content and insight, Jules. Thank you for your coverage in this incredibly frustrating case. It is incredibly frustrating. Extremely freaking frustrating. It's not fair to the victims whose lives were lost that all of this stuff keeps happening. Like, this was a cluster F before we even knew anything about Bryan Kohberger or started asking any questions about Bryan Kohberger. We were already like, what the freaking hell is happening? And we're still here to find those answers for them. For them. Because this is absolutely stupid and pathetic and dumb. Dumb. It is interesting. I mean, guys are different. I know my oldest son is real monotone in things. So I don't know. Yeah. See, people think it says poor Kaylee, and it probably does. Sometimes I wonder if I said this before. The first time I listened to it, it sounded like Lord forgive me or God forgive me or please forgive me, something weird like that. But I could have just been letting my biases, let my ears hear things. Most people think that she's saying poor Kaylee. Hey, Jane, thank you for the 5. How is he sure she's not breathing? And that's the thing too. That's the only thing I can figure is that he opens the door, but see, that's the whole thing too. Like, I can't even guarantee that that's the situation anymore because everything that they told us about that situation isn't true. And honestly, we don't hear what sounds to be like a 200+ dude pounding his body up against a door to try to open it, or like a door breaking open. We don't hear any of those things. So maybe it wasn't locked and blocked the way that we were told. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense-o. It just doesn't make sense. Okay. Now let's go back and listen to... No, you can hear him... Well, okay, so you don't hear him actually say anything about Ethan or Xana to the dispatcher, or hear anything about what he is claiming to have seen to the dispatcher. We don't hear any of that. We do hear him say both of their names. I can hear him yell both of their names prior to him then yelling, "Get out, get out." So they're not mentioning him after the fact, but I do hear him yell his name. I do hear that. Oh, thank you for the $1, Amber Howard. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. So yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of that, like, silence. I feel like he's saying what he is seeing probably about both of them to the dispatcher, but they've silenced it out the same way that they silenced out her phone number, Bethany's phone number. It's just so freaking much. I know. That's the problem I'm having here, is we've got 4 bodies that were, cut and leaking things. And it's not just from injuries, it's from what the body does whenever the body is no longer doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I'm just not quite understanding. I don't understand. I'm just not even going to try anymore at this point. We just need to get more information so that we can figure it out, because just to try to keep guessing is just not going to work.
Testimony.
Thank you, Your Honor. Similar motion by the state, asking to bring in the phone records for a DM between 2:10 a.m. and 4:37 a.m. on November 13th, as well as related testimony around that same time between DM and BF. Again, the state submits that there are allowable exceptions to the rule against hearsay to allow these statements to come in. I broke those down in my motion and reply, and the applicable rules for their introduction. This is a much easier piece of evidence in order to be able to present certain time periods and not put in non-hearsay. It's much easier than an audio recording where we would have to redact. But for the messages that DM sends and the messages that BF responds, I think all of those are allowable under the excited utterance, as well as the present sense impression exceptions to the rule against hearsay.
I agree with that. I mean, it should all be admitted anyway. I just find, again, this is something that I disagree with them trying to do anything when it comes to taking out any of this information. Everything from the time of the event to the 911 call. I don't give a damn who it's who which one I don't care. All of it. I don't care if it's an excited utterance, if it's them telling something to somebody else. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's her checking her bank account. I don't give a damn. It needs to all be in here the entire time.
If you have any questions about any specific messages.
Of course not, because he doesn't really give a shit. Like literally at all.
Well, Your Honor has our exhibits already related to this, and then in the record.
Sent you a text. Wouldn't let me. What? Why wouldn't it let you put it in the chat? That's stupid. Okay, so he said dispatch used a headset so you can hear a speaker from their end. Dispatch also uses a channel switch they can click with their feet to pop back and forth between radio and phone. It's done so they can attempt not to alarm callers in the event they need to tell an officer that the caller is a whack job, for example. The only possibility is one of the roommates was monitoring dispatch, if that's an area with public dispatch scanners. I mean, maybe. Because I don't know how else to, like, explain hearing that stuff. I don't know why the frick it wouldn't let you put that in the chat. You didn't say nothing crazy. YouTube's been tripping lately. But thank you for sending me $5 just to tell me to check my phone. Oh, you're hilarious. Thank you for the $4.99, Brooke. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, I've heard the feet thingy before. They have like those pedals. It makes sense. But damn. Like now they either have a freaking scanner or there's a cop there already. I mean, there's really no other two ways about that if the lady's doing her job correctly. Because, I mean, that's also a possibility, is that she doesn't know how to actually use the pedals and things, maybe. Or maybe something's malfunctioning. I don't know. Just wild. Okay, let's continue.
Were BF's phone activity. I don't need to quote extensively from those. There's a lot more to the text messages than the state has provided to the court, and the lot more makes a difference when you put all of these into context. We went through some of those in our briefing, and the court can see that there's even more when the court looks at the exhibit. I understand from the court's previous statement that the court would accept a complete copy of something versus just pieces of it. Well, I could offer
Qualifies
it.
for the completion document. If it's necessary to explain the prior admitted stuff and it's close enough connection in time and in subject matter, and so there's some questions there, it's not just automatic.
We certainly would understand that we'd have to present some information or cross-examine witnesses about that.
I would like to know why Maddie called Bethany too. They made it sound as if it was just Jack's phone that the girls were calling back and forth, and that was a freaking lie.
The additional bits of information that are contained in that record around that same time frame, though, provide a much better context when we're talking about other communications with social media, with saving pictures, creating new contacts in one's cell phone.
How do you, as a freaking police officer, okay, know that home chick is adding a contact to her cell phone at 3:51 and then have the balls to come out here and say at 4 o'clock she was passed out asleep and then woken up out of a dead sleep? How do you sit here wearing a badge and just lie? And lie for years. And now, like I thought, they're going to use Payne to sanitize this IGG information from the feds because he's the easiest or maybe the cheapest. Maybe. It's just too much. It's a lot. Thank you for the $20, Miss Lacey J. Hey there, great coverage on this. You don't know me, but I enjoy your content, and thank you for sharing your thoughts, and I agree with so much of what you say. Well, thank you so much for being here and caring about the truth, because this is just insanity. Insanity. Thank you for joining, Renee. Too much. Too much. Too much.
Right before the texting starts between DM and BF, and then subsequent to that, looking at pictures, editing pictures, calling family members. There's a much bigger picture than just this tiny little piece of texting between the two parties there at night. Further context about these messages: the court should be aware that it's not just these messages. There's a lot more activity going on between these two people, and it's hard to tell what it is because there's telephone calls and those kinds of activities, as well as going down to one another's room, spending the time together, talking to each other, really take it out of an excited utterance, because it's an entire transaction between the two people. It's not just a tiny little piece of context with this group of text messaging. And the whole is what matters here, and takes it away from being excited utterances because of the other activities of the two people.
The activities that occur after, so for example, the texts between, at 4:18 or 4:20 or whatever, those aren't affected by the later activities of, surfing Instagram or whatever. And I'll be interested to hear the testimony of the two young ladies, because my experience with that age group has shown that where you or I might phone somebody, others might check out their social media to see where they're at or what they're doing, right? And so understanding how they're using those apps is also important.
Did you not look at anything that they gave you, sir? Discovery was handed over with exhibits, filings with exhibits, sealed to the public, but definitely not to the judge. I don't understand. It's like they're just trying to do nothing about the fact that they were aware of a situation and basically played this entire thing. Thank you for the $4.99 C tires. Before I forget, thanks, Jules. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. This just doesn't make sense. I wonder if this is the kind of coddler he is as a parent.
It is important, and I would refer the court to our affidavit from Mr. Roloff, talking about the Snapchat activity, talking about Instagram, and there's a way to tell if somebody's active on Instagram versus just having it open in the background of their phone, and those are things that were going on, as well as editing pictures. The picture editing happened in those overnight hours. Instagram happened later in that morning.
That wouldn't affect the excited utterance and present sense impression of the earlier 4 o'clock text, I guess is my point, because those are afterwards. Those are after they retreated to the room together, and, and what happened there.
Mostly I agree. There were things that happened right before. DM created a new contact at 3:51 in the morning.
Before anything
before. So Ann Taylor just stated that before the 351 timestamp are more things that she is deeming admissible here. But we don't really see too much of that besides what? The Eric Grower stuff? Right? Maddie calls Bethany while they're also apparently back-to-back calling Jack D's phone, and Dylan has some sort of text conversation with Eric Gower, the private driver. So what could Ann Taylor be talking about? What could Ann Taylor be talking about? Thank you for the $11. Miss Lacey J. She said, I live in Idaho, 10 minutes from where the Lori Vallow and her toad hubby buried the kids. And we need more people talking truth around here. Thank you. I watched some of the interview that she did. I can't remember the person's name. Lady's a wackadoodle. She's a legit wackadoodle. She reminds me, like, the way that she looks in a lot of her photos with the way that her brow and stuff does, she reminds me of, like, a female non-green Grinch. Can't stand Lori Vallow. I just cannot stand Lori Vallow.
Happened that was of an excited nature.
If you accept the state's timeline for that, and we don't know that yet.
The foundation that will.
If you accept the state's timeline. That's probably a bolder statement than she probably understands, just considering what we talk about out here.
Have to be laid, but that's their version of the time events, and that's then the jury's job to figure that out.
Shortly after the last text message, and I'm talking just minutes, DM and BF are doing different things on their phone that night as they get together that night. There's the period of time that they're together in that room, both before there's a break in activity. There's not really a break in DM's phone. That is pretty well continuous. And there is a break for BF, but it starts again right away. So
the break she's speaking of, at least from what we know so far, because again, this is not everything, but the break that she is most likely speaking of when it comes to Bethany is right here. At 4:37, she gets on Instagram, and then there's a 3-hour delay in her doing anything else until 7:30 when she calls her dad. So that's 3 hours. That's not going to sleep and waking up the next morning. And then it's consistent. This is Bethany. This is Bethany. This is Bethany taking photos at 8:42. This is both of them going back and forth. Now Bethany's making calls. Now Bethany calls JM, and then JM sends a text message to Dylan. Dylan jumps on Instagram. Then Dylan calls Emily, and Emily is the one that comes to the house. Did we find out who JM was? Or are we still trying to figure out who the frick that is? I don't remember exactly. Because this JM person is not Emily or Hunter. So I'm not really quite sure who JM is. But there's a bunch of text messages between Bethany and this person, and communication between Dylan and this person. Is it Jenna? I think you might be right on that. So obviously, to me, okay, yeah, then it was. Okay. So Jenna must have known something. Like at this part, I think anything after Dylan speaking to her father is her spreading the news to people. For sure. I mean, I believe she probably was still doing some crazy shit prior to that, but I am pretty positive that the way they're going to play it out is that everyone starts getting like a flurry of messages after she's done talking to her father. Is probably how that's going to go.
I understand the court's looking at an isolated part of time, but I think it's important to understand what activity was happening leading up to that and what activity happened immediately after that when the two of them are together downstairs, to put it into context. One of the other concerns is the use of this text messaging, not just through the witness that's testifying, but to bolster each other's testimony or to bring in somebody else's statements through another person. So I think that it's important when the court analyzes if this is really an excited utterance to look at what's being said, as well as to understand the context right before and the context right after, not the next morning, the ones continuous, but right after.
Well, there are several things that I have to look at. One is, first of all, is it hearsay? Is it an assertion, right? So is it offered for the truth of the matter asserted? We get to those two things. Then we look at, is there an exception? For each of those two things, it generally means it's an out-of-court statement. Then it's, unless otherwise definitionally excluded, hearsay. Unless there's an exception, then the exception being the excited utterance. And then we look at the surrounding events. Is it common or current present sense impression? Look at the surrounding events, what's said. Much of it is not assertions necessarily, or I would imagine some of it not offered for the truth, but simply to establish a timeline. And so I'll look at all of those things, but I don't think.
How can you use it to establish a timeline? I don't believe their timeline. I don't believe their timeline at all. And they really can't even technically use whatever Dylan is claiming as something to prove the timeline, because there's no proof to what she's claiming that she saw. Now, obviously something crazy happened, but just because she's claiming to have seen one person maybe walking around for 2.7 seconds at some point while she's hallucinating and unsure if her brain is playing tricks on her or not, does not mean A, that person was actually leaving when she saw that person, B, was the only person there. I don't see how they're going to use that for that. They, like cameras picking up things outside, the noises being heard, that's what needs to be used as a timeline, not what this chick is claiming that she's seeing that can't be corroborated by Bethany. Because unless Bethany is out there in the ether also claiming that she's seeing something like a guy in all black with a mask, then it can't be used as a timeline because Bethany is not credible. I mean, well, both of them at this point, honestly. But when it comes to Dylan, she's completely not credible because she was off of her rocker, completely off of her rocker. So there's no way that they can try to use anything that she said regardless. And yeah, cool, the text messages do something, but if they didn't have the camera picking up noises at 4:17, then her timeline text messages wouldn't really mean shit to me. If Bethany wasn't hearing anything in the end, and it's all coming from Dylan, basically freaking out Bethany with whatever story she's feeding Bethany. You see what I mean? Like, if there wasn't camera footage outside at 4:17 picking up noises, then we couldn't trust anything that was being said here. That's how I feel about it anyway.
I think I can just look at the whole thing in whole and say, well, because they later on were doing things that, 19, 20-year-olds do with their phone, doesn't mean that what happened earlier wasn't an excited utterance.
I understand. Our position is that those things that happen immediately thereafter impact the nature of those text messages that occurred between the two.
All right. Next item is.
Okay. That's it for tonight's review, because it was just for the text messages and the 911 call. He gets on my nerves. The more and more I watch him, the more I can't stand his ass. I don't know why he's so rude. He's so rude to the defense, and you shouldn't be like that. You're supposed to be unbiased and not an asshole. No, they never released a blood alcohol level. They just said what she claims to have drank, and it was like champagne mimosas in the morning, and then like 9 to 10 White Claws, and then a Borg, which is straight up liquor mixed with juices and water in a gallon milk jug thingy-mabobber, water gallon, that you carry around tethered to your wrist. And then she claims that she also played some sort of drinking game It's all in a footnote, which is kind of stupid. They should have put it like directly in the document, but they didn't. They put it in a footnote, which is dumb. There's a lot. A Borg. It's funny because the only thing that I think of whenever I think of Borg is like Borg from Star Trek. Like I see the blonde chick that became a human with like all of her Borgness. That's that's what I remember. Yeah, it's a freaking lot. That's what I said. Look. I'm almost 37 and fat, all right? There ain't no way my ass would be standing straight at all. Just off the champagne and the White Claws. Just because I know that I can deal with like White Claws because there's like really nothing. But that many of them and some champagne, forget the Borg and the drinking game later. I'm going to bed and sleeping for 2 days. If I can even get to that point, because that's a lot of liquid on top of that. You're telling people bring this up all the time. You're telling me that you drank your ass off all night and just didn't get up to go pee anywhere? You just didn't go to the bathroom all freaking night long? And now we know how much she drank. You're trying to tell me that you didn't go pee in 8 hours drinking all that, girl? Just that alone, you a damn lie. Just that alone, you a lie. I sense deception. Yes. Yes, I do too. Most of us do. It's too much. It's too much. Too much. Bro, once you pop that cap after you've been drinking, you're going to pee every 20 minutes. Straight up. I learned that from my karaoke days. Thank you for the $5, Miss Lacey J. I really don't like this judge. He's a typical biased Idaho judge, and he's probably as corrupt as Ellie in that town. Girl, basically everyone at this point is asking, how well do you know Scott Green, Mr. Hipla? That's what we want to know. So much. For real. This don't make no sense. Yeah, for real, I really feel like it's not no 4 o'clock. I really don't. Because just because they might hear something like whimpering or whatever, like on that camera, doesn't technically mean that there's an attack going on, because they're not making it sound like it's loud. Gets on my nerves. I just don't really know what else to think besides this all bullshit. What else am I supposed to think? What else is anybody with a brain who's actually paying attention to the facts? What else are we supposed to think? Oh. And you know what? I probably need to do a video about this. But I'm going to say it anyway. I think we talked about this already. But I'm going to say it again. I know this isn't everything. But somebody made it, kind of scream at me a lot more, I guess, about how Dylan's not trying to contact her boyfriend. And I know I've mentioned this before. And I know that people have looked like over the Linda Lane stuff like a shit ton, right? But there is a black truck at 423 that leaves Linda Lane, which is literally just 2-3 minutes after the car leaves. And the person that gets in it is in like dark clothes, and they run across real quick and get in the car, and then they leave. It's a big black truck. It's got a big bassy sound. Was her dude like there? And that's why she wasn't contacting him, because he was actually there. He didn't have to be contacted because he's there. Because it was just really strange how he came out and was like, I ain't never visited her there. And we're like, oh, you a lie. We seen you in your truck with her, like in the area. So you a lie. Why are you lying about going to see your own freaking girlfriend? That shit don't make no sense. Just like going back and listening to where like the DoorDash was. I listened like, I'm going to end up doing a video of like all the little clips I listened to that are timestamps in like the evidence. Now that we know like the specific times that they're wanting us to listen to. But watching it again, like past the time and then past the 420, because you can hear like a car take off, and you can kind of hear because of like direction, like kind of like where things are car wise. Yeah. But somebody like jets off at 423, like they're coming from King Road, but like behind that apartment building, like this way, gets into that truck at 423 and takes off. just kind of is odd that she doesn't contact him. Well, then we see that. I don't know. It's just a lot, and I'm really just tired of it being a lot. I just don't know. Yeah, and I don't know, like, why their timeline is so secretive. Like, what's the problem? Why can't we know, like, where Dylan and Bethany really were? What's the problem? How can someone be asleep with no witness, be an alibi, but driving with no witness isn't? Yeah, no shit. Make it make sense. True story. It's just so much. Well, you can leave because I know that you think Kohberger is guilty. So you're, oh, this is disgusting because we're talking about facts. Maybe try bringing up documents, listening to court hearings the same way that we do. You subscribed to be in here for over 15 minutes just to say that he's guilty without actually explaining why you feel that way. And then to this is disgusting. You're probably older than me. Can you just like grow up? Go read the facts. Go be disgusted somewhere else. No one honestly gives two shits. Okay? See, this isn't even true anymore. Really just kind of like wasn't true. The whole thing about BK asking if anyone else was arrested, that actually came out in a document that was given to us from the defense. And it's claiming that like all, you know, these media things that he apparently said are out in the media and they're false. And they don't give us the exact sentence, but it's the only thing that came out after his arrest when it came to what he said was, has anybody else been arrested? Brian Enton is the only one that came out and said that. Then he said he couldn't actually verify it. No one else ever claimed it besides him. It was just repeated. And like I mentioned in the CW thing that just came out where he's obviously a paid freaking actor, I'm so disappointed in him. So gross. He had the perfect opportunity to take his spotlight and re-say that statement again, and he didn't because he got called out in those documents already for being a liar. So there's that. Exactly. Another, what do you call it? Intent blurb, and it was never said. Yup. Yup. It's a lot. Good night, Jen and James. See, I don't know. Do judges have the same responsibility as juries to avoid news coverage and speculation? You would think. You would think. But I also expect a judge not to just sign an arrest warrant without making sure that everything that they're reading in it is valid. And apparently they don't have to double check their work. They just take their word for it and go to signing. Just to go to signing. Girl, I know this one. I mean, yeah, broski. That's what I'm talking about. I have like a whole thing of notes. I'm about to talk major shit in a video. Because that's the blue pill. This video is the blue pill. Go and really listen to the way they talk about the IGG. And listen to the flow. Listen to the dates that they're flowing the IGG information in up until the familial match of the trash. It's the blue pill and it's paid. Ugh. It's so gross. That's what's disgusting. Being a paid shill and lying. That's what's disgusting. Every judge. But he mentions YouTube. He mentioned YouTube, didn't he? He damn straight mentioned YouTube. He shouldn't be watching YouTube. He needs to get the frick off the internet. I mean, unless he's watching me, because then he's going to know that he said some wrong shit and he allowed Jennings to perjure herself in court. Thank you for the $9.99, 1,000 Julys. Good night, warrior woman. Love your dedication and commitment. Well, thank you. I appreciate the fact that y'all appreciate it. And that y'all don't think it's disgusting to want the truth. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But I'll have a video out about that this weekend because I listened to it twice to make sure that I wasn't going to run my mouth about something that I misheard. And I damn straight was like, they are blue pilling the shit out of this narrative. And the timing of it is on point. Like whoever is orchestrating this is literally they're really good at what they're doing. They're really good at what they're doing. You really couldn't write it any more screwed up than what it already is. It's wild. It's wild. But I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. I'll have a little video out in the morning. Something about the DoorDash. Pretty interesting what Google Maps is doing lately whenever you look up the address to King Road. I'm just saying, if you want to go take a look at that before my video comes out, you might be a little shocked. But that's about it. Thank you so much for you guys being here. We're going to go over some more of this. We really probably should go over the information for the AT&T advanced records. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that whatever does get dropped when it comes to Cyray's affidavit does come out public. I doubt it. I really do. But regardless, we need to go back over his testimony from before when Cyray was on the stand and then go back and maybe do it together at the same time. Listen to what they were arguing about in the hearing on the 9th and then go back and listen to his original testimony, maybe on the same live. Maybe we'll do that on Sunday. Thank you for joining, all of you new members, and thank you for all of the gifted memberships. Thank you for the super chats and the super stickers. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I love the fact that y'all actually care about truth and figuring out what actually happened here because they don't deserve this shit. Kaylee and Maddie and Xana and Ethan do not deserve all of this bullshit. They don't. And the fact that people are just okay with all this crazy stuff happening and they look down on people that are trying to understand why there's so much corruption happening, those are the ones who don't really care for justice. They're the ones who are just in there because it's something trending and popular and it's cute to be involved in. They're the fakes. Real people that care about justice, they're angry. They're angry because regardless of if you really do feel if Bryan is innocent or guilty, if you really care about justice, you know that there's some bullshit happening here. So regardless of your side of the fence, if you're a real one, you're angry. It's just that simple. You're just mad. But right now it's time to go and relax. I have some lavender chamomile tea and honey calling my name. Calling my name. So I'm going to get off of here. Y'all go relax. Have a good Friday night. It's still early enough for some of y'all to go out, so y'all better be careful. Be careful. I'm going to play my little things, and then I'm going to get off of here. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, you guys. See y'all.